Daber Hashem Moshe Lemor. Kachas Levim. Again, David, right? Kach is the key word. So Rashi says throughout the Chumash, what does kach mean? Persuade. Persuade. Because a human being you don't physically take unless you were a prisoner. Like, people today, they're taken. They hear about a certain restaurant, they're taken by it. They're taken by the menu, taken by the food. You see, people are holding. Yeah. Kachas Levim b'topen Yisrael v'tiartosum Rashi. Kachas Levim kochim b'dvorim. Ashreichem shetisku lioshem moshem lamokum. What's the basis for the persuasion? Ashreichem, you're fortunate that you merited to be the shamoshim, to be the attendants for Hashem. That's the persuasion. We speak about a person as Bechira. What's the basis for Bechira? But what is the setting for Bechira? If you see a raging fire, so I'll give you a choice. Go in or don't go in. Is that Bechira? You have to be demented to go into the fire. Because you see clearly, fire consumes you. Because at the level of clarity, it's not even the basis, it's not choice there. Right? If you want to be destructive, you go into the fire. When you persuade a person, especially this level of persuasion, Ashreichem shetisku lioshem moshem lamokum. It's only you bring it to a level of clarity, there's no basis of choice anymore. There's no choice. I'll give you $1 million or a smack in the face. Right? Well, what would you prefer? It's not a choice. It's understood. If you understand the value of one, you reject the other. So therefore it's kach. You're taking the person. It's interesting the way Ramesh Simcha learns the Kofim Harkigiyus, that doesn't mean literally physically. Says a pshat that the mountain was over, but meaning the level of clarity was such a level. Sinai, they no longer had Bechira. So therefore it's the equivalent of they were actually forced to accept the Torah. It's like, it's an offer you can't turn down. But it's more than that. So if that's the case, Kach Levim, so they had no Bechira. Because allow yourself to be persuaded, that's Bechira. Understand? Once you're open to hear what the person has to say, then you're persuaded. But that's your Bechira. Sinai, they had no Bechira. The level of clarity at Sinai was such a level, it's not because I allowed myself. It's something that you couldn't deny. So if you're in a state that you can't deny it, then you have no Bechira. That's why Sinai, it's Modor Rab Lo Raisa. Therefore it was under duress, Sinai.
Is there a level of trust in Bechira? Do I have to trust in order to accept the words?
I understand the question. We're talking regular Bechira. Person chooses to do the mitzvah, not to do the mitzvah. Now, why are you doing the mitzvah?
But if somebody's telling me to do a mitzvah.
Kach, no, kach. Ashreichem shetisku shamosh lamokum. It's a fact. What is persuaded? Some people, something, I didn't think about that. Do you know what it means to be privileged to serve Hashem, to be chosen to be His attendant? People don't think about this. But if even they think about it for a moment, it doesn't impress them.
Right.
So you have to present it in a way where it does impress them. It's not He's telling them something here that he didn't know. We know a lot of things. But to be persuaded, you have to think about it. That's the Shar HaBechina that the Chovos HaLevavos is speaking about. If you don't reflect on a reality, it's not a reality. It has no relevance to your life. Now, how do you choose them? How are they initiated to become Leviim? Latarum. Hazele mechatos. You have to sprinkle on them the mechatos, Tefora Aduma. Ve'viru sar al kol b'sorim. You have to run a blade over all their flesh, meaning to remove all the hair. V'chibsu b'gdeim v'toru. and they have to immerse their clothing. Doesn't mean, go to the laundromat. Chibsu. V'yitkun, and then they will be purified. Rashi, because among them, there may be someone who came in contact with the dead. Now the next Rashi is interesting. Ve'viru tar sar al b'ksol psorum. What's divrei Moshe darshan fishnitne kapor al abchoros. Who are the Levim replacing? The Bchoros, because they were tainted with the Chet Egel. That's how the Shavda Avodah Zorah. And what's Avodah Zorah referred to? The Gemara Avodah Zorah, Ikri Sivchi Mesim. It's the sacrifices of the dead. So Avodah Zorah is the equivalent. You came in contact with the dead. Mitzorah Korimes, right? It says in Mitzorah is what? The 4 people are considered Choshev Kemes. Mitzorah Choshev Kemes. No, he's quoting Risha. Divrei Moshe Darshan. Mitzorah Kori Kemes has his kikum. What does a Mitzorah need to purify himself? He has to run the blade over it to remove all the hair. That's the purification process. His kikum taglachas k'mitzorayim. Therefore, they needed, again, but what does one do with the other? So maybe the person's poor because he's choshev kemes. What he was also need taglachas. He should also have runs. Avodah Zarah is called zivchei mesin. Mitzorah is called kori mes. And therefore, you need taglachas like a mitzorah. Right? What exactly is? What's the commonality in Avodah Zarah and mitzorah?
Internal contamination.
What? No, but mitzorah. No, what we were saying, the reason why you have to remove all the hair is similar to the mitzorah, because a mitzorah is considered like a mess, like a dead person, and now Avodah Zarah is called, the sacrifice is called zivchei mesim. It's like being in contact with the dead. So because they both have relevance to the dead, and there, how do you achieve purification? It's through taglachas, to remove the hair. Here also, what's the purification process? You must remove the hair. What was one thing have to do with another? Some say only choshev kemes. So also what? Now that he's no longer, he's regained his financial status. What he has to have taglachas, goes to some kind of hair salon, spends $1,000 on a coiffeur. What does he do over there, right? I see, Nachi's serious this morning. Okay.
It's like so far removed from the answer to the question, I just can't see the question. I can't.
Now, why does a person become a mitzorah? Because he speaks lashon hara. Now, why does a person speak lashon hara?
Insecurity.
It's rooted in gaiva. If you read the Chofetz Chaim, the lavim that you're in violation of, that one is, it's almost like a denial of God. Why? It's a chil Hashem. Why? Because the Gemara says in Tainis that lashon hara is the only thing that there's no physical desire for. It's rooted in an evil that exists within the person. That's what it's rooted in. First, the snake also spoke lashon hara, right? He spoke lashon hara to Hashem, and that's why he convinced Chava to eat of the tree of knowledge, the Eitz Hadas, the snake, in Gan Eden. So therefore, the Rabbeinu Bachya he says this in Kisei that you see there's circles. Every snake has circles on its skin. It says when the snake was punished, it became a mitzorah. It's Rabbeinu Bachya. I think he said it's from Pirkei Reb Lezer, right? So therefore, tzaras has to do with lashon hara, because we see since the snake spoke lashon hara on HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's because it's like psoriasis. That's the skin of the snake. That's what it is. So when you speak lashon hara, similarly you punish similar to the snake. That's Rabbeinu Bachya. I think he cites the Pirkei Reb Lezer. But I'm saying, what the mitzorah, it says when Adam Rishon ate of the Eitz Hadas, he became a min. He was a heretic. It was a denial of God's existence. I mean, if you have that level of clarity, how do you eat of the Eitz Hadas? He's in the Gan Eden. In the garden, how do you eat of the Eitz Hadas? It's like God is standing before your eyes. More than that, and you eat of the Eitz Hadas. So you have to say you denied his existence. You can't eat unless you deny his existence. For that moment, Hashem didn't exist. Otherwise, you couldn't have crossed that line. What is Zivchei Mesim? Zivchei Mesim it's what you believe. I believe the deity is the power that provides. not God. Chas v'sholom. So it's a denial of God. Okay? So Mitzorah, to a degree, is a denial of God. When you speak Lashon Hara, you behave like you're perfect and you pass judgment to someone else. And it's not something which is even drawing you. It's not a physical desire. But the gaiva, the Gemara says that's the reason why a person's a gaiva. A gaiva is kiva over avodah zarah. He's like an idolater. Because a person who's self-centered, God exists for me, I don't exist for God. You have the roles reversed. A person who's truly an arrogant, haughty person. So I'm just saying that could be the commonality. Avodah zarah is zivchei meisi. You're bringing the sacrifice to the dead. And Mitzorah is kori mes, he himself is mes. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's why they were able. No, but it says because they're atoning for the Bechorim. They're atoning since the Bechorim themselves were involved. So they have to they took over the position of the Bechorim. That's what he says. Shefishnidu kapora ala Bechorus. Their purification is to atone for the Bechorim. And the Bechorim were involved in idolatry. Okay? Okay, let's see the Maral. You're not here. If you were at Creation Torah last year, you should know this. You have to be here. Okay. No, some died, and any will die in plague. Some were killed by the sword. It says they died through one of three ways: either the plague, or they drank the water, or they were killed by the sword. No, definitely not. But every Jew was culpable for Chet Egel. Doesn't see they actually worshipped the idol. There was some degree of involvement. For that degree of involvement, they were disqualified. Instantaneous. Almost gathered the gold and it happened. He threw the gold into no, not 2 days. No. He gathered the gold and they put it into the kiln and it came out. No, immediately. Aaron thought it would take time. No. It took moments, literally moments. Okay.